Hello, welcome into the Bear Down podcast. I'm your host, Noah Tor. So excited to have you here along for the ride, along for the journey. We're just talking anything, everything Baylor athletics. And by anything and everything, I mean football and men's basketball. You sprinkle in some other things every now and then. But for the most part, that's what we're going to be talking about here. And the first question, I just want to address the elephant in the room. Different name. Yeah, different name. The reason for that is the other name was just too close. And did some internal reflection, thought about it, had a couple conversations, and just came to the realization it's too close. It's too close. No matter if it's different, no matter what, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's too close. We don't want to cause confusion within the community because we want congruency. We want unity. We want everybody to be on the same page. And so with that, welcome to the Bear Down podcast. Feels like there could be some cool intro music. That's neither here nor there. Anyways, what we're going to talk about is just headed into the season because we are approaching 20 days. I can't remember if it's exactly 20, but I mean, we are right there. September 5th, Baylor Bears take on the Auburn Tigers at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I will be there. I sure hope you will be there. Do we even have tickets yet? No, we being me and the companions that I shall be attending with. Are we going to get tickets? Yeah. Are the plane tickets already bought? Yeah. So the tickets are a little bit expensive right now. We're going to hope they drop down. Anyways, you should do the same thing. If not, I won't see you there. I hope to see you there. We can talk about Baylor and what this season actually could and should look like. And I say it that way simply because there is a lot of internal buzz and hype, and maybe I'm just on the wrong side of X. Maybe I'm fabricating this, but I really do feel like there is a lot of internal hype with the Baylor Bears, and there's not a ton of external hype. Like there's nobody in, and you can say whatever you want to say about national media, guys. You can say whatever you want to say. You throw in Josh Pate, JD Pickell. We will never slander any other man. Also, shout out JD Pickell, Sikkim 365 guy, formerly. We're never going to slander anybody, but there's a reason why that Baylor is not getting any national media attention. And that's for what we're going to talk about later. It's simply because there's a little bit to be excited about, but ultimately the problems that were there last year are still kind of there. It's just a different set of problems. Like problems that existed last year, hopefully are addressed this year, but some of the main problems are still around. And that's what I want to address in this episode, specifically because as any good, logical college football fan will tell you, is this: preseason hype is real. Preseason hype should be real. Like if you're not excited about information coming out from your team and your camp, you have a problem. If you're not excited when you see a highlight video of your quarterback in practice, just absolutely ripping a dart downfield to a borderline wide open wide receiver, and you don't look at that and go, yeah, we have a real shot this year. You're a sicko. You're not a true sicko. Because the real sickos actually understand when that happens, there's a little bit of juice that starts running through those veins of yours, and you go, oh my God, we have a chance. There's something happening here. There's something brewing. When you watch those defensive linemen go up and practice, just some skill drills, you go, wow, they look really good. They look really good. And you start taking some of the advice from some of the reporters, and literally everybody is, all they're doing is we're just taking what the coaches say, we being media, taking what the coaches say in press conferences and in conversations, just going, yeah, everybody's going to be good this year. Everybody actually has a shot to win the national championship. Everybody has a shot to go to the playoffs. Like everybody has a shot to do everything that you've ever wanted or dreamed. And that's not true. Like it's not true. You know that. I know that. You can call me cynical. You can call me an old curmudgeon. I should be outside in a rocking chair with a cigar in my hand. Like I understand if you hate me saying that, but it's true. Not everybody can make the playoffs. Not everybody can be a national title contender. Not everybody can do everything that you want and or hope. And so with that, I feel like it's necessary to talk about Baylor and how this season is actually going to look for the Bears. Because I sat here about a week ago, and I believe I said best case, or it's either like a best season in the world or the worst season in the world. And that's dramatic. I was like, they have either a chance to go top 4 in the Big 12 or bottom 4 in the Big 12. There's no in between. That was dramatic. Yeah, I'll own it. That was dramatic. Had some time to reflect on it, think about it. And I know I said that and then proceeded to go, yeah, no, I think they might go like 7-5. I think that's probably more realistic if we're talking about what this season is going to look like for the Bears. 7-5 is it's a safe bet, and I think I'm feeling safe. I think it's hard to look at the Bears and think that they are going to do a lot better than 7-5. Let's talk about the season again. Start off against Auburn. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with that game? Then you go to Prairie View, Louisiana Tech, Colorado. There's a very likely chance Baylor starts the season 2-1. I'm going to call that Auburn game a loss. Does Auburn have a new team? Yeah, they got a whole new team, whole new coach. There's a lot happening over at Auburn, but the safe bet is that this team, and we'll talk about this in a couple minutes, because they're so new to the system. There's a bunch of new guys. There's just there's no telling what's going to happen this season. The safe bet is to say, I think Auburn, that game is going to be a loss. Then you got Colorado, Arizona State, TCU. What do we got? 2-1 right now? I think then you end up 3-3. Like there's 2 losses between Colorado, Arizona State, and TCU. I think TCU is going to end up being a loss. That's a bummer. I hate to say that. From the bottom of my heart, I don't want to say that. I think it's going to be a loss. Colorado, Arizona State, there's a win there. Kansas pick up a win, that's 4. UCF, that's a win, that's 5. Iowa State, that's a win, that's 6. And then you go to the end of the season, and it is just a gauntlet. BYU, Texas Tech, Houston. The 7-5 is saying you pick up a win somewhere in there. I think you have to pick up a win somewhere in there. Otherwise, you're 6-6 and Dave Aranda's fired. DJ Lagway is transferring, and maybe he's shown enough potential that maybe he just goes straight to the draft and he's like a 6th-round draft pick. He's like, I can't do this anymore. Like if you want to map out what this season could look like, I think that's the most realistic option. That's literally the most depressing, unfortunate, unfun season outlook. 6-6, 7-5. But I do want to read a quote from a CBS Sports article. And it's a quote from Papa Doug. It's a quote from Papa Doug. Our Lord and Savior, Papa Doug, the Baylor savior. He said this to Dave Aranda. Because it's interesting, because if you want to frame this season, Dave and DJ need each other. Dave needs DJ to be the 5-star recruit that he was coming out of high school. And DJ needs Dave to go back to 2021 and lock in. And for both of these guys, their success in the future of college athletics and beyond, just in their professional careers, is intimately linked and tied together. I don't even know if that's dramatic to say. And yeah, you can throw in Jake Spavital if you want to, who's just instrumental in the success of DJ Lagway this season. Absolutely. But if Dave has a job at the end of the season, that means that DJ Lagway had a phenomenal year. And if DJ Lagway, regardless, because nobody knows, if he has a phenomenal season, is he going to go straight to the draft? If he has a phenomenal season, is he maybe going to go somewhere else? Or does Baylor make some promises, spend a little bit of cash, get some other people in, and then you start competing like you're at the top of the Big 12? That's another option. Whatever. If Dave is here at the end of the season, that means DJ balled out. And if DJ is there at the end of the season, that means Dave had a great year coaching. Their success is intimately linked together. Because we all know this. I've talked about this. You know this if you've ever even thought about Baylor athletics. The only reason that Dave has a job right now is because Mac got fired. That's literally the only reason, is because Mac Rhodes, did his thing. So he's not there anymore. Anyways, there's a quote in an article written about DJ Lagway. It's titled, "Can former Florida QB DJ Lagway save Dave Aranda at Baylor?" It's just, they're so intimately linked together. Doug said, "I've said to coach, what do we have to lose? What genuinely is there to lose for the naysayers that already feel like DJ's career has been written, or for the people who think that this program will not reach its expectations? There's no pressure. Let's go. Let it rip. Let's play a fun brand of football and see what happens." And you know what? I love it. I love Doug. I want Doug to run for president. I want Doug to do so many things for me, because the fact that is a public quote from an athletic director. That is a public statement from an athletic director where he is coming out and saying, "This is what I said to the head coach of my football program." What is there to lose? I mean, what a phenomenal statement, which there's some, if you want to go subtext in that, there's obviously a lot to lose. He's saying, "Hey, Dave, this is your last chance, so good luck." I'm not saying Doug said that, but if you want to read into some lines in between all that, I'm saying Doug is saying that. What is there to lose for the naysayers? What a bar. The naysayers that already feel like DJ's career has been written. There's a lot of people nationally, especially if you're a Florida Gator, that say, DJ's washed. He's done. He was a 5-star recruit. That's great. He had potential. He never lived up to the potential. He's done. He's off to the wasteland that is Waco, Texas, just to die professionally in his career. He's done. Or for the people who think that this program will not reach its expectations, which honestly, I don't even know what expectations are for this Baylor program. But the fact that he's coming out and saying, "There's no pressure. Let's go. Let it rip. Let's play a fun brand of football." Yes! That's exactly what you want. If you are a fan of the Baylor Bears football team, that is exactly what you want. Now, I want to know what him and Scott Drew are talking about, but that's for men's basketball. We can talk about it another day. That is not for right here, right now. Right here, right now, he's talking to his football coach and saying, "Dave, go have fun." Which this may be a segment. I feel like we should talk about what Dave does for fun. I don't know. He's an interesting guy. Seems like a great guy. I've never talked to Dave. Dave, I'd love to have a conversation with you if you're ever down to clown. I feel like and it's even in the article, I mean, nobody's shocked. Just like, seems like an interesting dude in the best way. Like, legitimately in his head is probably a football sicko. You look at all the good coaches that are out there, they obsess and they love football. Gruden, sicko. Dave really has a chance to tell us whether or not he's Gruden up here, up in the old dome piece is where I'm pointing if you're listening to the podcast. He literally could be a sicko in his head. We've started to see a little bit more personality from Dave. I have no idea who prompted him to start posting on social media. I love it. It's tough when your football coach isn't necessarily a guy that fans, when they're watching, makes you want to run through a brick wall. Like, Dave is not going to light your world on fire, look at you, and after a press conference or a conversation, you are going to just want to rip and tear anything in front of you. Like, you will not snap a tree in half after listening to Dave. There are other guys in college football where you can do that. John Summerall, I would snap a tree in half after listening to a pump up motivational speech by John Summerall. I would do that from Kurt Signetti, Kirby Smart. Like, there's so many guys where you just look at them and go, yeah, externally it's there. For Dave, not quite. Internally, he showed a lot in 2021. Have not seen anything like that since maybe 24, but, because 2020 he came in. I don't know. I kind of want to call that season a wash. It doesn't really count. Baylor goes 12-2, 7-2 in the conference. Won the Sugar Bowl. There's just so many amazing things that happened for the Baylor Bears in that 2021 season. And then you go 6-7, 3-9, 8-5, 5-7. Dave, in his 6 seasons, has had two winning seasons. And I think a lot of people talk about the overall record of Dave. I really do think it's important to talk about the conference record that he's got. 24-30. 24-30 is where Dave sits in the Big 12. That feels like a much more important conversation and talking piece. And at the end of the day, if Baylor wins 8 games, I think Dave gets another season. If Baylor wins 6 games and Baylor decides to keep Dave, that is a whole other much longer conversation about Dave Aranda and the Baylor Bears athletics program as a whole, and saying they're okay with mediocrity. That's a bunch of ifs. Like, a lot of things have to break a certain way for Baylor to only win 6 games this season. But if the Bears only win 6 games and you are looking at Dave Aranda and saying, we're going to keep you, we're going to give you another shot. There was maybe some things that happened. Like, I don't care if there's injuries. I don't care if the worst happens to, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I don't care if there's some season-ending injury to a star player. You could say it's DJ. You could say all the running backs get injured. You could say Hosea Wheeler tears something. Like, if something happens, I still don't care. Because if Baylor wins 6, keeps Dave, and he gets another shot, that is an acceptance of mediocrity. And that should tell you where the Baylor athletics program is if that happens. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying if that happens. But if there's 6, Dave is gone, then we'll be having much longer dialogues about where and potential, what next. That is Baylor saying, hey, we are going to keep trying to fight for relevance. Beyond all of that, here's what this season looks like for Baylor. I want to talk about the roster. I want to talk about just what to expect, because the hard part is, truthfully, no idea. No idea. Not a clue. Couldn't tell you what to expect from the Bears. And there's more that you can say on that, because I could sit here and we could talk about how good DJ has looked, how scouts have come and watched DJ Lagway and come away saying, like, that dude is about to have a phenomenal season. We could sit here and talk about that. We could sit here and talk about how Klanderman's defense, how coming from K-State, retaining Hosea Wheeler, how he has a chance to have maybe not one of the top defenses in the Big 12, but to be potentially one of the best in the Big 12. Like, some of the sentiment that is coming out of camp with some of the hype that is around it, that's absolutely conversations that you can assume are happening. So then when you take all that and go, yeah, Baylor might go 8-4. You're welcome to think that. You're welcome to think it. You're welcome to call me a naysayer. Call me a naysayer, and we can sit here in December, and I will wear a full clown costume admitting my wrongs. I will pay penance for my sins. Like, I'm down. I'm down. If you want to come up with a consequence for me, I'll do it. But the only thing, in the best word to describe what Baylor has got this season, is potential. It's potential. That's what Baylor has to offer you this season. And it's tough when continually what is offered to you as a fan / as a respective watcher of the program, if I can just say that. What's hard is when potential is offered to you year after year, you learn to stop trusting the potential. And so as a, yes, fan, but observer of the Baylor football team, looking at it going, potential has been offered to me multiple years in a row. And so because of that, I think I'm out on potential and I want to figure out what this team actually has to offer. I am so out on the potential because yes, is DJ Lagway one of the most hyped athletes to come into the Baylor football program in years? I think so. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think it is, especially in the NIL era, it is hard to look and go, yeah, that guy actually brought much more excitement to the program than DJ Lagway. Like it is a different type of buzz and hum going on in the program because DJ Lagway is there. That's true. That is true. Can we also talk about how the past couple of seasons, DJ Lagway wasn't great? Was he even good? Year one, he was good, showed some promise. Then people were like, okay, he's about to take a massive jump year two. And he didn't. Let's talk about injuries. Let's talk about how there was an article that came out just talking about his environment at Florida. Like, there were a lot of things working against him. I am down to have those discussions. Yet, and then he comes to Baylor and people are talking about how much fun he's having. He's bonding with his teammates. He's going to Miami. He's taking trips, going on runs at 5 a.m. Bro, good for you. I want DJ Lagway to literally be in the Heisman conversation. So should you. But let's not forget what the past 2 seasons looked like. Again, call me a naysayer, call me a Debbie Downer, but right now it is potential. Get excited about potential. Be excited. I'm just going to tell you, past couple of seasons, not great. Is it exciting to think about what he could be? Absolutely. He was a 5-star recruit. Let us not forget. That doesn't just go away overnight. So all that is important. It's just important to remember who DJ Lagway has been the past 2 seasons. Circumstances, sure. Environment, sure. But over the past 2 seasons, he has not lived up to expectations. Literally, if he can be as good as Sawyer Robertson, which Sawyer Robertson, great last year. Great. Big old fan of Sawyer. So was John Gruden. Just throwing that out there. But if he can be as good as Sawyer Robertson, Baylor will have a fighting chance to finish above 500. Let's keep going. Specifically, even talking about the wide receiving room. Get those words out. Lewis Brown, Draylon Miller, Gavin Freeman. Those are the dudes that you are expecting to start and see the most of. And it is hard to look at this wide receiving room with the context and the history of who these guys are and go, yeah, I am over the moon. I am literally over the moon. Like, the position group that I think I get the most excited about is the running back room, but specifically with wide receivers, the best guy is Gavin Freeman, and I was just under 500 yards, 483, I believe, was how many yards he got last year at Oklahoma State. I mean, Oklahoma State was an absolute train wreck. So, yeah, like, that matters. That counts. But again, it's potential. That's what Gavin Freeman is bringing to this roster, is potential. You know who else is bringing potential? Draylon Miller. I love me some potential. You know what Draylon Miller has done at Colorado so far? Not a ton. Maybe he was just waiting for the right opportunity. And I'm not saying that like tongue-in-cheek. I mean that. Lewis Brown, waiting for his chance. He's now got his chance. How is he going to perform? I don't know. He didn't start last year. Like, other guys were put before Lewis Brown to start. I feel like that could also say something. And you're also listening to a guy that has doubts where most people have assumptions. And what I mean by that is most people have assumptions thinking about, considering how one guy, when he's here for a year, here is relative, where he's in a place for a year, he gets a great off season, just a block of time to work on his craft and hone it, and then gets to play later. The default assumption is he's going to be better. I don't operate that way. I don't know if he's going to be better. We don't know. The default assumption is, well, he had time to work on his craft, get better, perform, and practice. He's going to be at least marginally better. I sure hope so. I sure hope so. Like, if I had time to sit, work on my craft, and then have nothing else to do but just practice, yeah, I sure hope I would be better. Everybody hopes that. That's not always true. Like, the common phrase that you can hear is practice makes perfect. I don't know about that. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. But practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Not every guy's having perfect practice. Some guys are having practice. But if you practice the wrong thing over and over again, you're not going to be perfect. You might actually be worse than where you ended off. Just throwing that out there. So even the wide receiving room, I got questions about. I am excited about the running back room. Like, there's literally 4 guys that you could throw out there. Dawson Pendergrass has been running with the ones. So, and as much conversations as Coach Hall, running backs coach, where he said, hey, it is truly, like, it is going to be a group that is going to share the load. It's awesome. I love that personally. I think Pendergrass is probably going to lead off. He's going to get the most opportunities right after that, but each guy is going to have to prove his worth, because Pendergrass, if he doesn't perform well, it's going to go to Caden Knighton. If he doesn't perform well, you got Michael Turner. If he doesn't perform well, literally got a freshman, Rylan Morris. Let's give it to him. Let him go. There's so many guys. There's excitement in the running back room, but I'm just going back to it. I want to throw this word before you. Potential. It's potential. And then same thing with the defense. I know I am making a lot of points here. I understand that. But especially like on the offensive line, that was hot dookie garbage flaming last year. Hot dookie flaming garbage. Not good. Transfers to come in. Yakiri Walker isn't playing. So then you got to move some pieces around. And we have no idea. We're hoping. It's like maybe the offensive line's going to be better. Brought in some dudes that played ball well at a lower level, so now they're coming up, and it's like, hope it translates. You don't know. It's potential. Then you go over the defense. It's new. Like, the defensive line is new. Praise that the defensive line is new, because it needed to be new. All new guys coming in, not to mention Joe Klanderman, completely new. It's just all going to be new. Like Bo Onu, man, I hope he's really good. Devin Jordan, man, I hope he's really good. I hope Jacob Redding continues to trend in the right direction. I hope Travion Barnes is just as good as everybody is hoping. I hope Garrick Ponder is phenomenal. But at the end of the day, if you are telling yourself, as a fan of the Baylor Bears, we are going to be very good this year, I'm confident. I think you got delusional fan syndrome. I think you've got delusional fan syndrome. Call me a hater. Call me a naysayer. Do it. I dare you. I probably am. But I think if you are thinking anything more realistically, like you believe this, anything more than 7 wins, you might have delusional fan syndrome. Here's what could flip this for me. I am telling you, if the Baylor Bears start the season 4-0, I will sit my booty down in this chair, my cheeks on this chair, stare directly into this camera, talk right into this microphone, and say the Bears are winning the championship. I don't know what else to tell you. I was wrong. How dare I ever think that? If DJ Lagway has 12 touchdowns by the time Baylor plays Arizona State, if Dawson Pendergrass has 2 touchdowns, if Gavin Freeman is looking like Wes Welker, I mean, if everything starts breaking right, I will be the most insufferable Baylor Bears advocate on the planet. Even if that Auburn game is close, that'll start changing some things for me, because ultimately, here's what I need. Here's what I need as somebody who is covering the Baylor Bears. watching them and what would convince me that they actually have a chance at success this season. Game 1 against Auburn, honestly, I'm kind of willing to give it a little bit of a pass. Because we have no idea what's going to happen against Auburn. Auburn's new. They're trying to figure everything out too. Baylor's new. Auburn's new. No idea what's going to happen. But if Baylor walks away with a dub, that's going to be lights out unbelievable. Even if that game's close, that will trend me in the right direction. Stomp Prairie View, stomp LA Tech. Stomp them both. And then if you beat Colorado, and honestly, Arizona State, like the tough part is then you're starting to get into October and go, well, I still don't know how I feel about this team. Like if you don't feel good about a team in October at the end of September, that's not great. They need to convince you by then. So what I'm saying is I want to be convinced by the end of September that Baylor is going to be a good football team. If I am unconvinced by the time it gets towards the end of September, like if that Colorado game is close, it might just be bad news Bears after that. I'm telling you, it might just be bad news Bears. Because Colorado opens against Georgia Tech. That's going to be a tough game. That'll also tell us a little bit more about what Georgia Tech is going to be, who they're going to be with Alberto Mendoza, Weber State, Northwestern. So I mean, they start off with some pretty decent games. Honestly, it's going to be I think that'll be a good test for Northwestern. I'll figure out if Northwestern is going to be good at football or not this year. I don't know. But it's just when you got an opening sequence like that, I don't know, you could also get to September and be like, I have no idea if Baylor's going to be good or not. So ultimately that is what's going to have to convince me of what Baylor is and who they could actually be. At the end of the day, Dave Aranda needs to win. He has to win if he is going to stay at Baylor. It's got to be 8 wins. I think if it's under 8 wins, Dave's gone. And if it's under 8 wins, Baylor is then you and I are having conversations about Baylor if they're a serious football program. You sure hope they're a serious football program. Everybody wants them to be a serious football program. College football is good when Baylor's a good football program. Just throwing it out there. That's all I got for you. Next time, talk a little bit more about Baylor football. Bring on some guests. Just have a conversation about, hey, from a fan's perspective, from an analyst perspective, from a guy who's covering the team, how do you feel about the sequence? How do you feel about the team so far? We'll get everybody coming in, chiming in. It's going to be a great conversation. Excited to have you along for the ride, along for the journey. Feel free, subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Deuces.